All right, give me a couple of minutes. Make sure the audio acting right, and I go from there. All right, Shalom. I'm gonna give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shabbat, Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations again to the whole Falek out there. All right, this video is going to be titled "Trading Places" because that's what's going to happen. All right, the position of the roles that's going to be happening between the Israelites and other nations and our enemies, starting with Esau, Edom. All right, it's going to be a role reversal. All right, well, we're going to take the roles as the rulers and princes and kings of the earth, and they're going to be taking the roles as servants. All right, and then they're going to serve us because anytime that kings rule, they have to have servants. They have to have uh, people under them to attend to their wants and needs. All right, just like in this place here, we're at the bottom. All right, we're the first fired, the last hired. All right, we do the grunt work for these nations. All right, these nations are at on top, including Esau, Edom. They're the ones that set up in positions. But what you do see and what you have going on now, all right, is that the Most High is putting all those curses on those nations. All right, starting with Edom. All right, Ishmael, Moab, so on and so forth. All right, you see that these nations are starting to really start to go down. All right, the curses is getting up on them. You have Edomites now; they're dealing with child support, they're dealing with homelessness. All right, different diseases of the skin. All right, they're catching hell, man. All right, and you can see that as we continue to put these prayers up, to put these curses up, this place is being plagued. But ultimately, what the Lord is going to give us too is full rulership and dominance and control of the planet Earth, even people. All right, it's gonna come a time where the Israelite man is gonna control people, places, things, and ideas. All right, which goes into the minds of the people. All right, that's gonna be under us, under our foot. But I'm gonna start with this one because I just said it. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. It says, "And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and upon them that hate thee, which persecute thee." All right. And we're seeing those curses, all right, being upon our enemies. All right. You got Edomites complaining about losing their homes, losing their country, all right, losing their children. All right. And you have the nations are in the mix of that too. You have nations that are saying that it came over here for a different way of life, and this is not what they thought it would be. All right. So everybody's catching hell under these devils. All right. And soon, starting with our enemy Esau, all right, because all these nations, according to Psalms the 83rd chapter, have contributed to taking down the Israelites, all right, as a whole. All right. But all our enemies within that chapter there is going to be brought low. They're going to be brought and put under our foot and made to serve. All right. Because that's what they would, according to the Bible, not me, but according to the Bible, they were set up that way to be servants for the nation of Israel, all right, to serve us. And they're going to get put back in their places. All right. The princes are no more going to have to walk while the servants ride up on horses. All right. The role reversals. That's why I named this video Trading Places. We're finna trade places. And I'm going to get that scripture too. We finna trade places and trade roles on earth. All right. So that we have been in the ghettos, the slums, the most diseased people, the most hated, the people that are put on the bottom, that live in the most worst conditions. All right, the roles reversals are going to be switched. All right, well, these other nations are going to be put in the same predicaments and the same hell that we were put on. All right, because we know when we read the Bible with understanding, and you're given true teachers to break these things down, to you find out that hell in heaven is nothing more than a living condition. All right, when people is in their heaven, they live in the most peaceful places, the most plush, luxurious homes. All right, giving the most benefits, and it has another people that's living in hell, meaning The places they stay at is not the greatest. All right, it's crime, it's trash, it's debris. Houses are not the most best to live in. The water is not the best to drink. All right, it's a scarcity of food, is the jobs, so on and so forth. That's a living condition. And you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American, you fit that role as living in and being in hell. All right, they always have that saying, "Hell on earth." All right, and it has been hell for us under these devils. All right, so now we finna switch the roles. That's why, it make me think about. I named the title of that because it made me think about that movie, Trading Places with Eddie Murphy. Right, and they also had another movie called The White Man's Burden. Right, and show you that these Hollywood producers, they know a bit about the Bible. They know what's finna happen. All right, they know what's finna happen on earth. All right, with the different nations of people, how the Most High, all right, Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shai are finna flip the roles. Okay, but I have the scripture here. This is a Sirach, chapter 10, and the verse 8. It says, "Because of unrighteous dealings and injuries and riches got by deceit." All right, who done that? Who had unrighteous dealings and injuries and riches got by deceit? It's only one person on the planet Earth that have done this. All right, going back to Job 9:24, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. Who's the wicked? Who's ruling the planet Earth right now? All right, which we always have to break this down to different listeners that's standing by camp. It's only one person that's doing this. That's the Edomites, the Idumeans, or the so-called white man. All right, those are the people that's ruling the planet Earth. All right now in wickedness, and they have basically displayed a bunch of injuries and then a bunch of riches got by deceit, by raping, robbing, and murdering people at their will. All right, but it goes on to say the kingdom, because where is the kingdom set up at? The kingdom itself, all right, and our future kingdom is going to be set up on earth. Just as the so-called white man has had a kingdom that was placed on earth, all right. He has ruled, all right, with an iron fist. Well, we're gonna rule with a righteous iron fist in our kingdom that's gonna be placed on earth. Okay. Where these nations don't have, they're not gonna have any say so. All right. But it goes on to say the kingdom is translated from one people to another. All right. And that one people that's gonna the one people's hands is gonna leave is the Edomites and these nations, and it's gonna be translated to the other people, which is us, man. All right. Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want to rule in righteousness, man, with the Lord Yahweh Shai forever? All right. You have to go, no more going into captivity. Have to be servants to these nations, man, and be put on the bottom. All right. We're gonna rule the planet Earth as a whole. All right. We're gonna be a beacon of righteousness to the whole planet Earth. All right. And we're gonna show the nations how to truly, all right, cultivate, nourish the earth, all right, in its fullness, man. All right. But I got a few more. I start with this one too. All right, straight out the gate. This is where we at? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I get straight to the point. Yeah, this is another one. Psalms 2 and 8. All right. It says Psalms chapter 2, verse 8. It says, "Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance." All right. "And the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession." And hey, that's a beautiful thing, man. The Lord is gonna basically give us everything in its fullness, the benefits of the kingdom of the earth, the benefits of the kingdom, the promises, and all of the above, man. All right, even our enemies. All right. That's why that scripture, it's one of my favorites in Amos. All right, it's gonna come a time where the plowman is gonna overtake the reaper. We are the plowmen right now. We're the ones that's plowing, like the scripture says, the place of drawing waters, which is the merit. We're in that place of drawing waters right now. Well, the heathens finna draw waters for us. They're finna go and fetch our everything that our wishes we ever want, man. If we want more slaves, we want more crops, or we want palaces and things of that nature built, they're gonna do it without every big and call. All right, just as we serve them, they're gonna do the same. All right, these curses is upon them now, and then hey, we get in the kingdom, man. We're gonna rule with an iron. What they say? The rod of iron, man. All right, we're not gonna be nice to them. We're not gonna play with them, but we're gonna actually administer the law to them, man, because we're not gonna need the law taught to us. All right, we're gonna hold court with these devils, man. All right, and they're gonna like it. All right, everything you've seen that happened to the so-called Negroes over here from the time of transatlantic slavery is gonna happen to our enemies. All of them, man, not just one, but all of them. Starting with the house of Edom, all right, the house of Esau. Okay, because we get on him the most. Hey, but you nations out there, all right, like I reference Psalms 83. You nations that is listed on that, you're gonna get the same. All right. It says, "Ask of me, I should give thee the heathen for thine inheritance," which they are already a part of our inheritance, man. All right. It was already foretold that the elder shall serve the younger. All right. It already was told. Let me get it too, because I was holding this on deck. It wound up coming back to my mind. All right. It was already told. It was already foretold in the book of Second Esdras 6 and 7. All right, which is already the spiritual. It already was set up from the beginning, even before the children were even born. It was set up this way. All right, we're just gonna reap the benefits of it. All right, Second Esdras. I get straight to the point. Yeah, Second Esdras. Well, I'll read this other one. Second Esdras chapter 6 verse 7. It says, "And then answered I and said, what shall be the pardon of the son of the times? Or what shall be the end of the first and the beginning of the it that follow it?" All right. And it said, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Esau and for when my bad, from when what said unto me from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, Jacob hand held first the hill of Esau. For Esau, all right, Esau is you so-called white people, all right, which for Esau is the end of the world, or this age, all right? And Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. So we have the ruling, we're going to have the rule of the future planet or the future times next, man. All right? And you nations out there, you're gonna be subjects under us. It is what it is. It's a tough pill to swallow. Hey, but you devils gonna swallow it, man. All right? You have basically destroyed our people, all right, our ancestors, even unto this very day. All right, you think that the Lord is not going to get you back? You think that the Lord is not going to give his people a time to rule again? You got to be crazy, man. All right. And like I said it before on the highways and byways, going at it with a guy in times past. And that's it's hard for you to see looking at the state of our people now. It's hard for the average person to see our people ruling, man. It's hard for them to see that at some time in the future, the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans is going to rule the planet Earth. All right. But hey, you devils going to see, man. Let me see. It's another one. This is I get straight to the point on this one too for this nation. Yeah, I get straight to the point. This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 14. It says, "The sons also of them that afflicted thee," and who is that? All right, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at thy soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. All right. And then all the sons that afflicted thee they're gonna do that. All right. This is something that's gonna happen. All right. Starting with you nations out there. You're gonna serve, all right, the nation of Israel, man. Let me see. Is any more? I will make the. Yeah, you know, that's the point though. You know, they're gonna come serving us, man. All right. It was already foretold. All right. It just now the prophets on the scene. We're putting it out there. We're putting out there to your faces and telling you what Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is finna do. Right. You don't have to believe us. You don't have to believe not one word we're saying, but it's not gonna stop these prophecies, man. It's not gonna stop it from happening. All right. Let me see. I might scratch this one. Yeah, I'll scratch this one. I'm not worried about it. Let me see. Yeah, I'll scratch this one. You know, so I just want to make that quick video. As always, I'll give all praises, glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushua Bashem Kadash. Once again, double honors to the elders apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations again out there to the sincere brothers and sisters. Shalom.